think she's got the goal. Ryan third, then, or has he? Let's wait on it. He's got it. It's going to be a gold medal to Australia. 3 minutes to go. Take it out. That's it. Yeah.
It's come through underneath, and here's the gold medal to Australia.
For the past 18 years, Carnavon has performed tracking, telemetry and command functions for several international satellite organizations. The station's role will diminish over the next couple of years, so we took this opportunity for a quick look at a unique workplace.
3, 2, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 8.
The spacecraft was launched from Cape Canaveral at 22:18. Just for the records, it was 535 milliseconds late lifting off. Intelsat supports various non-Intelsat launches as part of their procedures, and we are supporting this Galaxy vehicle, which is purely for domestic use within the US. Address 77 is selected.
At the moment we're in the command mode, which is where we send commands up to the satellite to change the configuration on board the spacecraft. This piece of equipment here is the synchronous command generator, which is the nerve center for commanding. And it's here that we actually enter the signals into the computer, which are transmitted up to the spacecraft. The main configuration of the spacecraft that we'll be changing today is called a reor, which is a reorientation of the satellite, and it is this changing the attitude of the spacecraft, the orbit of the spacecraft, so that it can be put into its final orbit, which will be the circular orbit around the Earth.
At around about 9:38 Greenwich time, we expect to have LOS, or loss of signal, from the spacecraft, and that is all we will see of this particular spacecraft. It is predicted at the present time that they will go for an apogee motor fire on the apogee of the second orbit, which is over the United States.
In 1980, OTC entered into an agreement, and I understand signed a contract with the European Space Agency, known generally as ESA, to install equipment, several antennas here, for the object of making or sending a spacecraft into orbit to make encounter with Halley's Comet. This is known as the Giotto mission. The actual launch will be in July 1985. The encounter will be 8 months later. We will be the prime space or deep space station that will be controlling the movement of the spacecraft all the way until it enters its encounter phase.
This is the European Space Agency equipment, and in the same way that we supported launches for Intelsat with the SHF equipment, this does exactly the same thing at VHF. This kind of equipment will become very important. It is very important to the future of Carnarvon as the Intelsat contract expires at the end of this year. There will be an increase in the equipment that will be installed here, and as well as supporting VHF launches, we will be supporting future S-band launches as well. Yes, sir, we have LOS Galaxy 3 at 09:24:17. Roger, our pleasure.
Credit unions are formed as a cooperative, non-profit organisations, mostly industrial type, being the common bond being the employee base that the members work for.
One thing on this one, do you know when he's going to buy that car?
Oh, yes, he wants to pick it up on Friday.
Right, has he told you what model?
The only deposits that the credit union receives are from members. They come from payroll deductions and over-the-counter deposits. These monies are usually deposited into on-call savings accounts and into our various investment accounts, which offer high rates of interest and very competitive rates of interest. From these deposits, we're able to fund our very low interest rate loans to members and the operating costs of the credit union.
Morning, Craig. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Have a nice weekend?
Yes, thanks.
Computerisation has meant that we can now offer instant cash and cheque withdrawals, whereby the member comes into the credit union and fills in a withdrawal form and immediately gets up to $500 cash or any cheque that he wishes to withdraw.
Yeah, Craig, 20, 40, 50.
Thanks very much.
Ta.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
We just recently introduced for the members interstate and at OTC locations all around Australia with the 24-hour telecheck withdrawal service, which means that the members can telephone through their withdrawal. If it's received here by 3 o'clock on one day, it is processed that same day. After 3 o'clock, it's processed the next day and forwarded on to the member, whereby saving one side of the mail delivery service.
The annual report talks in great numbers about trainees and courses in the training and development section, and recently the section was upgraded to a branch status. Was this due to the large numbers of staff, or does it signify a trend towards more staff training?
Well, we train a lot of people, technical people and radio operators and tradesmen, that kind of training. And that will always be important to OTC because we need to bring along sufficient people to look after our services. So it's an important activity, and it warrants a branch head. I guess the thing that's important about that is that what we're trying to do is keep a steady state in training. That is, recruit about the same number of people year after year, because that means we can keep the training people at a nice level, keep the costs to a minimum, and of course, because we've got certainty in the numbers, I think we can train them better.
Automation is affecting many of the Commission's services, and in particular the telegraph and telegram services. How is this automation affecting the jobs of people involved in these areas?
Well, there's a couple of things about that, Keith. First of all, the traffic in some areas is going down, in the telegraph, for example. And that's a trend worldwide. So we've got to do something about that, and the way to do it is to automate the manual services. Now, of course, people are concerned about their jobs. And I'd like to take the opportunity to say that nobody in OTC will lose their jobs. We've said that often enough, but it's nice to have the opportunity to say it again. Nobody will lose their jobs, and if necessary, we'll train people to train them for other jobs in OTC.
A number of references are made within the annual report to the financial transactions between OTC and Telecom. I know that it's essentially a political question, but do you see any real threat of a future amalgamation between the two commissions?
Well, it was dealt with, nearly 10 years ago, and it was decided that they should be kept separate, and I've never heard the question raised seriously since then, so I don't think of it as an issue anymore.
Sure, I can appreciate that, but it's still something which the staff tend to be concerned about, and I'm sure they value your reassurance.
Well, my advice is, you can't answer for the future, of course, but my advice is stop worrying about it.
Well, as I say, it's a political question, and...
Well, politics might cause it to change, but I'd still say don't worry about it.
Good.
The report briefly mentions that OTC is to establish a Melbourne terminal. The possibility of this Melbourne terminal has been discussed for around 10 years. Why is it now becoming a reality?
Oh, I just think that it's at about the time that we should do it. You think about these things for a long time before you do them, because we're about to spend, I suppose, $20 or $30 million down there. But it also makes the system more resilient. It's better to put our gateway exchanges in as far apart as we can. And Melbourne, of course, accounts for a very large percentage of the total traffic, so it makes sense to put a gateway down there. And of course, it avoids carrying a very big amount of traffic between Melbourne and Sydney, and that'll help to reduce the costs that we incur from telecom.
Thanks, Bill.
Between taxation and dividends, OTC last year passed on over 80% of its gross operating profit to the government. Does this in any way restrict the Commission's capital expansions?
First of all, OTC wants to operate like a business, and so it should pay, and it does pay, all of the taxes and rates and the like that an ordinary business pays. That's good for us. Now, as to the dividend, well, an ordinary business pays a dividend to its shareholder, and we're in no different position because the government is the shareholder. Of course, everybody would like to keep all their money, but the fact is that with the exception of the ANZCAN cable, OTC's always been able to fund its works from internal resources. Now, the government has established a method of dividend payment. We're not unhappy with that. So I think together the business of dividend and taxes are a thing that OTC should meet and is meeting quite well.
For most Australians, making an overseas phone call is easy, but for some who don't speak English, it's a problem. The telephone is an essential form of communication for new settlers wanting to retain family and other links overseas. The ability to phone overseas direct cuts out the
We've taken a conscious decision to more aggressively promote OTC out in the community. We're doing that because we believe that we need, in the long run, we need public support, whether it's because we're building an earth station in a country town or a capital city, or investing $200 million in a cable. We need people to know who we are and why we're doing it, and in fact that we're doing it in their interest.
Right now, can your computer talk sense to your overseas office?
We've taken a number of business services aimed at the business community. We've put them together in a sort of a coordinated campaign using Caroline Jones as a corporate presenter. And what she does, or the effect of it is that we see those products advertised more often in a wider market sphere, and we hope that we sort of, by doing that, we're able to generate more support, more understanding of what sort of a company OTC is and the type of range of products that it actually provides. It doesn't replace the Old Memories campaign at all. We have a number of groups that we see as important. There's the ethnic communities, the business community, the politicians in Canberra. There are some big lobby groups that are now set up because telecommunications is a growth industry and it's a profitable industry, people who like a slice of the business. So what we're actually doing is we're aiming particular types of activities at those various groups. And we are trying, in a sort of coordinated way, to present ourselves as a high-tech company that's efficient, that's providing services both to the commercial community but also to the general public, with sort of a national interest type of philosophy.
she's going to win the gold. Evans first, Nunn second. I think she's got the gold.
Nobody can ever take that away from her, Bruce. Olympic gold medal.
I just got really proud to be Australian, and I just thought of all the people that backed me back home and got me to where I am now. We've been getting herograms from people we don't even know, and it's just great to get back home because you wait for those herograms on your bed and you just sit down there and read them. Everyone's been posting them on the walls, and we've got walls just packed full of herograms. It's excellent.
Gosh, that seems like yesterday.
The Herogram campaign started first with the America's Cup, and it was a promotion that we designed simply to let Australians get in touch with the guys who were sailing over there in Newport. And it worked so successfully over a short period of time that we then further developed it. And it's interesting that we got the largest jump, if you like, in awareness of what OTC is and what it does in the shortest space of time for any campaign, of an advertising or promotional campaign we've ever run. Well, the staff has always been considered as just about the most important group. I mean, if the staff are not sort of understanding what the business is about and what we're trying to achieve, then we really have got some big problems. Well, over the last couple of years, we've tried to improve the range of staff communication. We've upgraded transit, and we've introduced the Newsline service. And in fact, the staff video show is a perfect example of how we're trying to provide information to the staff.
Well, good morning, gentlemen. Welcome to the 9th Managers Conference.
One of the things that we're doing is developing the managers' conferences so that the senior people in this organisation can face-to-face present the managers of outstations with the sorts of problems that the company is going to face, and hopefully that'll then be translated down from level to level right through the staff so that the people at every level know really the sorts of problems that we've got. In the long run, when we're faced with any particular issue or under threat, that there'll be enough people out there who will put up their hand and say, hang on, leave that organisation alone because it does a good job.
Sydney's 10 times bigger than Melbourne, and in regard to staff, and so therefore we just have a small version of the head office divisions.
I've been here since 1949, and I've loved every minute of it. Well, I've got two programs going of training at the moment. Those in the foreground, as you see, are doing the course on they're called the SITO course, which is a barrier given to the ITOs when they wish to increase their skills. This course is held once a year, and to qualify they have to be on a certain salary level, and they come to me and I teach them to be SITOs, or they prefer to be called area controllers now. I've been doing social secretary for some 28 years here in Melbourne, and we have this amenities area that you can see. We run the canteen, and the profits to that go to table tennis and the snooker, plus they subsidise OTC's children's party and the end of the year party. The Australian Postal Institute, who have a very good trading store here, and we can join as honorary members. I'm the head for that sort of thing, the liaison officer. Or any other organisations that wish to sell us things like Jet Set Tours. The same lines as run in Sydney.
Well, we get a cross-section of people. We get the public arriving in here asking about information on OTC and the services which we provide for the public. And we also handle the Intertel lodgements, that's the telex lodgements from customers and cash customers. We have facsimile transmissions from Melbourne, so the facsimile documents are lodged here at the front counter to be sent overseas.
What we're doing at the moment, we're actually processing the cash that comes in daily. We've got 3 clerks who work on the ledgers, and the idea is to get the money marked off as quick as you can on your ledger upstairs to our cashier, where it's then banked and then the money's put on the money market. So the quicker we can get the money upstairs, the quicker we can process it, and some more interest comes in for the commission. This is Paul Johnston, this is our clerical assistant. He's just started with a commission, and that's Tiny Tim McMillan, which most people know.
Timmy, how you going? All right?
Oh, yeah, not bad, Rob.
Big night last night, Tim.
Oh, it was pretty close. We could have won it, I reckon.
Pretty close.
Yeah, draw's not bad, though. We get some points. Right, let's get into it.
All right, come on. One for Jeff, too. Exciting match.
Yeah, it was tremendous. We started off slow and came back really with a real bang. Oh, the bowling wasn't bad, but the batting was terrible.
The batting? What about the fielding, mate? What about the...
Oh, the pace where I run that bloke out, that was brilliant, that was.
We'll be holding